Welcome, everybody, to a Tuesday night edition of Racing here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. I'm John Rallis alongside my Hall of Fame co-host, Randy Waples. And, same as last night, Randy, I thought that it was a little bit of a tricky card. I had a pretty good night last night for the first time in ages. And, again, I think tonight is, tricky, but I think there's a lot of value opportunities potentially as well.
Yeah, you're selling yourself a little bit light. You got an opening pick 5. You hit that one pretty good. And you always, if you're going through a bad spell, then I haven't even got to your level yet.
Well, you've come close though. You've come close to hitting some maybe 4 figures. Pick
yeah,
fives.
Lots of 4 out of 5. Just can't seem to get the right one there. Last night, what was it? Race 2. You separated as you had Belle Baloo.
I had Belle Boo. I went off as the chalk though.
Yeah, and I didn't though.
Yeah,
so that's what was the separator. I finished second in there.
You know what it's like to have heartbreak as a driver, losing by a nose. Now you're experiencing it from the other side.
I'll say.
Welcome to the club, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Can I have another?
Yeah, it's but you'll have plenty of opportunities. It's just that tomorrow's a new day. Just turn the page. Just like you guys have to turn the page as in drivers.
Yeah.
And
you know what? I agree with you. Like I thought last night was kind of tricky, and I think that tonight is tricky, but I think they're tricky for 2 different reasons. Last night, I thought it was more tricky because it seemed like there was more horses that maybe we didn't know, first-time starters, that kind of thing. This time, I think it's more tricky because we got like the best of the grassroots in here in all these divisions tonight, and I think that makes it really, really tough. I mean, there's races tonight there when you can easily go with 4 horses, and where do you separate them?
For me, I mean, obviously we love to watch the talent at the gold level, and we see some superstars competing there, and we've got a couple this year as well. But I love handicapping grassroots races. I mean, they're just they're ultra competitive to me.
They're exciting.
So I mean, it's like I love grassroots finals night. It's always my favorite card to handicap every year.
Yeah, it is.
And tonight, again, all these grassroots legs, I think they're competitive affairs.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like they're really, really deep kind of a bunch. So I don't find it tricky because I don't know what I'm looking at. I find it tricky because I know too much of what I'm looking at, and it's hard to separate.
Well,
them.
That's the thing. There's multiple horses in every race that I could probably make the case for, and there's horses. I mean, for you, I mean, I think throughout the card, I mean, we briefly recapped some of your thoughts. There's horses that I for sure thought you were going to go with on top, but you're opting to play against here in this spot. You're still going to rate them highly, but again, for you, I'm sure it was tough to even go against as well.
Yeah, it was. Went in there with a lot of notes, thinking that it was going to be an easy night to handicap, and it wasn't easy at all. It's just a deep, deep night.
All right, we're going to hope to have a good handicapping night here tonight, but we're going to recap last night's action as well. And obviously, every night we kind of like to recap what happened the card prior. And last night, again, your star of the card was Greg McNair, and
Saturday night, Doug McNair.
Doug McNair, and we're going to see both of these names pop up here on this recap preview, and momentarily. But we'll look at some average win payouts here, and we had a pretty good average win payout. Again, the early pick 5 paid $800 and change. The late pick 5 paid just over $3,000 there. Again, Doug McNair, Greg McNair getting it done in the opening leg of that late pick 5 at 40-1. So that helped. That really helped inflate. Yes, and obviously it was essentially a pick 4. That's the beauty of it, right? I mean, Blue Jean Gal was a horse that everybody kind of said she's a single.
You know what? I think in the Dougie McNair one though, I think that there was just. In myself, maybe I'm just talking for myself, but I really did think, even with the stale date, that Ricky's horse would get the job done.
Yeah.
I kind of wasn't paying much attention to some of the other ones, and I think Mass Appeal just kind of slipped under the radar.
Again, one that I said, and again, I hate saying it after the fact. I always want to try and make a point beforehand, but this, filly, I thought she raced sneaky good last week in a 5th place effort. That being said, I still preferred a couple others, including the one sitting in the 2-hole Blue Rare, one that I really like. James worked out a perfect trip. She just didn't have enough for, Mass Appeal. Cupid Hall, another good effort. Again, I mean,
I thought I had him here, but then she starts to level off right here.
You know what? We've seen this a couple times from this filly as they're approaching that turn.
Warning, whip drag. There we go.
There you go. A little bit of showmanship there. I love seeing guys having fun out there. I think you got a 40-1 shot across. I think you got to do a little bit of celebrating.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, and I think he was celebrating, too, because he kind of likes to get at a little bit about that guy there beside him. That was Zeron's birthday yesterday.
Yes, it was.
Rick Zeron. So, happy birthday from Doug McNair to Rick Zeron. You almost got me.
And we always love we love going at Ricky too.
Oh yeah,
Ricky's
he's
a
the
good
best.
sport. Yeah.
Oh, he's the absolute best, man. He can pitch just as good as he can catch
big
too.
time. He can. He's a quick thinker
Oh,
too.
he's a very quick thinker.
Tough to go toe to toe with.
It's very tough to go toe to toe with him. Any of them old kind of catch driver trainer guys like that. You don't want to go there, you know what I mean? And especially if anybody wants to have a war of words with Bill O'Donnell, do not go there.
Thanks for the heads up.
Here you go.
And as we mentioned with Doug and Greg McNair, I think Doug had 4 drives last night. 3 of them were trips to the winner's circle. He closed out the night a winner 2 with Patriarch Hanover. So I mean, you gave Greg McNair star of the card. He had 2 winners, but then he ended up having 3 by the time the night was over. So nice to see Patriarch Hanover get back into the.
I had him
circle.
for 5th. You thought there when we were closing the show off, you thought he had a pretty good chance of taking it down.
He had 2 qualifying tries. Chris Matthews was aboard in those efforts. I thought they were good ones. I tell you what, the Willow time, he raced really well.
Did race very
first
well.
Over a long way, but Patriarch ended up getting tripped out to get the job done. We're going to fast forward to tonight now and look through this 11-pack. I like the races, like I said. So I'm curious to know what kind of replays you submitted for this evening, Randy. And we're going to kick things off in what I think is a wide-open affair in race number 1. Field of 10, and the 2-1 current favorite is going to be It's Not My Vault. I mean, how can you knock that effort last time out? I mean, she was flying late in the mile. This is one that I pegged as a top contender 2 starts back. Filly, though, Randy, who never seems to race as well when she's on the lead. When she's chasing horses, that's when she does her best work. And, I mean, last time out, you could see she was live.
She was very live, yeah. Really, normally in this situation, I think it would have been an easy decision in here. I would have went with Not Passable.
Okay.
I just think that she's been the dominant one all year, but her last couple, I just don't really like them as much, the last quarters and 31. So let's take a look at It's My Vault. And this is the thing, Jody might be able to win this race anyway because he usually races Not Passable a different way. If he gets too far ahead, then, it doesn't matter what It's My Vault is going to be able to do on the end of it if she's too far out of it. I don't think she's going to be too far out of it tonight. She come 27-1 in this last one, and the horse that beat her, Land the Plane, another Jameson horse, and this is a pretty nice 2-year-old here. So Jody's obviously got the momentum with this really, really nice 2-year-olds, and here comes Louie with this little girl, and I think she puts a scare into this big lug for a second there. Big wheels on the end of it, so I'm going to go with her only and I love Not Passable tonight. Love the horse, love the way that they've brought her along. 11 starts this year, 4 times she's been a winner. But the last 2 starts, she hasn't beat 58, last quarters and 31 seconds. I don't really know what's going on there. So I'm going to throw her in for second, Vowel for Vanna, who I thought was a real good first up in her last, in for third. But It's Not My Vault. It's the way I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I think Kayla's in charge is going to, attract some interest here, as we can see right now at 3-1. James McDonald's going to be back aboard, this daughter of my MVP. I picked her on top the last time she raced on the big track. And or I should say the last time James McDonald was aboard her on the big track, and she made a miscue from a good draw. So James is going to be back aboard this filly. I just don't know where she's going to get situated. One that I'm going to use in my pick 5 tickets because I think she's in with a big shot. Just not one that I can kind of rely on. But I think Time Emerald. I think she was sneaky good last time. This is a filly I've backed, on a few occasions in her most recent tries, and I'm happy to back her at what I think is going to be a pretty good number. I'm happy with the 6-1 in this spot and a good draw to work with.
Yeah, no doubt. And you said you put Kayla's in charge on top?
On the ticket. No, I put Time Emerald on top.
Okay, that's your top pick? Okay, well, the Kayla's in charge. I got her in for 4th, and I think that the big thing with me was that July the 29th race, just after James drove her. Louis Gregg drove this. Look at who she's in. She's in against Not Passable, Wings of Green, and Royal Sauce. Like basically 3 of the very, very best ones, and came out of it with a nice effort in there and good wheels on the end of it. 28 and change on the end of it. But then since then, she's gone to the B tracks. Her times don't look as good. She's still coming up with good summaries, finishing 3rd in her last 2. Maybe another one of those fly under the radar type.
Yeah, and Not Passable, again, you mentioned it. When she's at her best, she's the one to beat. But how can you really rate her as highly in this spot, given those last two efforts? I mean, she's tough to trust coming into this effort. I just want to see a little bit something coming in, but we know the ability's there.
It is, but something we've also noticed in the last little while, maybe there's been, Carlsbarn just doesn't seem to be as razor sharp as it was a month ago. A month ago, I mean, my goodness, you could cut meat with his with his stable. But right now, it just seems like they're still good, but maybe not just quite as good.
All right, there's our thoughts on race number 1, and you mentioned Land the Plane as well. We're going to see him in a Champlain division on Thursday night.
Nice.
So, get a chance for him to elevate himself in a Grand Circuit event, and I think he's going to, hold his own in that spot. We're going to move on to race number 2, another grassroots leg here for 2-year-old Pacing Colts. The morning line favorite, Dime Better. I mean, he's going to take much more support than the 5-2 that he's been given here. I mean, how could he not take support off that try, Randy? I mean, that was a wicked stretch rally. Sometimes you look at a race line and you say, was it really that good? Yeah, it really was.
Yeah. Best horse in the race, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of look at it that way too. But I'm going to try to play against him. And for 2 reasons. Number 1, he's got the rail. Sometimes if enough of them leave, they can get into a bad situation. We've seen, top drivers and top horses get locked in before. So it can happen again, and the rail makes it doubly as easy. And the other thing, not that it's a horribly stale date, but it is just a little bit of a stale date, August the 22nd, So I'm going to try to play against him here. Like I said, it has to be a perfect storm setup, I think, to try to beat this guy tonight, and I'm going to look at it that way. So let's show the replay on Lions Gustavo Fring, but let's go all the way back to August the 8th, and this was just a maiden. He's had 2 Sire Stakes tries since then, finished 6th in both of them on the B tracks, but I thought this one was good. Now, he suffered bad interference, too, at the head of the lane, this little guy, or getting to the head of the lane, and he still put up what I would consider to be a pretty good effort in here. Louis looks like he's still got some go. He gives him a little bit of a tap there, but this guy starts to run, and look at the interference this guy does. He makes a complete dead right-hand turn. Now, the momentum's out here. He's got to try to get this little guy fired up again, and it's not just going to work, but I liked him up till then, so I thought he took some bad interference, stayed at it, stayed going, had a couple of races since, and he's getting Louis Waugh back, and Louis drove him that time. Had the 8-hole with him, got him out of there in a good spot, and that's what I'm kind of hoping with this time is that, forget about Dime Better. Don't matter what he does. Whatever he's going to do, he's going to do. Get this guy out of there. Get him into a good spot like he did the last time, and I think you'll get an even better effort.
You know what? Lions Gustavo Fring, his efforts on the big track have been better than the small tracks. Kawartha Downs 7-hole, I think you scratched that line out. And, it was a tough trip at Clinton in his most recent grassroots try. But so if we can see some of those efforts on the big track, I think he's going to put forth a pretty good effort. But you mentioned it again. I mean, Dime Better, it's going to be awfully tough to beat him in this spot. And I think you want to try and make sure you get some points here. What is there, a couple more legs? He hasn't won a grassroots leg just yet.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great opportunity. And you mentioned it, though. A lot has to probably go other rivals' way in order to beat this Dave Maneri trainee.
Absolutely, yeah. And my thing is I know that this is a bit of a risk too, but in my early pick 5, I alled this race.
Okay.
Now, if Dime Better gets across, it's obviously it's a waste, But if he doesn't get across,
you're going to get rewarded.
I'm going to get rewarded.
Yeah. All right. So there's our thoughts there on race number 2, and we're going to move on to race number 4 here in this spot. Or race number 3. Race number 3, I should say, in this spot. We're going to go to some maidens here. A lot of horses still looking to get the job done here, and there's a couple of them making their career debuts here in this spot, including the 3-horse Wake Zone, coming off a couple of qualifiers, is the son of Better's Delight for trainer Chantel Mitchell, and Figment, one that is going to make his career debut here, this son of Shadow Play. I really liked his efforts. I think he's ready for a big performance here at first asking. I like that effort from Wake Zone as well.
I'm going to go Wake Zone.
Okay.
And then I'm backing it up with Figment.
All right.
But I mean, you really could go either way, on these two. So let's take a look at the last qualifier for Wake Zone. He's in against My Mom's an Ace, Hot Cocoa, a couple of horses we were seeing racing in the winter. So you're going to see a lot of spread here. It's basically, in my opinion, Wake Zone more or less just had to do everything on his own. There's no real company, you can just tell it's not a real deep group in this qualifier. But Louis appears to have some go. and he brings it off the JR's back, and let's see what she does with it. I think that this is a really good effort, and Louis has not yet asked her. Now there he gives her a little tap with the line, and there he gives the wheel disc, and what does she do with that? She responds even more, moves on. Typical Bettor's Delight. Not going to do a whole lot more than what you're going to ask her to do, but I like the connections on this one. I think that she could come up with a big effort. But Figment, I'm not going to show the replay in that last qualifier for her, but that's a good one as well. And it's funny, nice to see Dave Keys back. Anybody that knows the Waples family knows that the Waples family and the Dave Keys, Norm Keys, the Keys have always been very, very closely associated. Grant's Direct, owned a lot of horses with my father. I haven't seen Dave and Julie in a long time. Nice to see them back. But I will say one thing, this guy, if you don't know much about him, he's always kept his numbers down very, very low. But my, oh goodness, can he ever bring out nice horses.
I'm excited to see these first timers make their debuts, and we can see that the handicappers on screen are split. Ewan Garnett going to Wake Zone, Kevin Ploucha and I going to Figment. Chantal Mitchell sending out horses for the first time, and she sends them ready though. Mm-hmm. So this is one you don't have to. I don't think you have to worry about whether a horse needs a start or not. Off a couple of qualifiers, I think the son of Bettor's Delight is ready to put forth a good effort at first asking. I think the same goes for Figment. I mean, that August 15th qualifying effort, he got beat by 14 lengths, but I mean, I thought he was moving really well at the end of it. And look who he was taking on. Calico Jack Hanover. It's a Grand Circuit caliber horse. So I think that was a good showing. I thought he responded really well the next time out. He was right on Chris's back. Chris got the job done with Solar Voltage. Mm-hmm. Scott Young kept this guy brave in that qualifying effort. Like I said, I think this son of Shadow Play, I think he's ready for a big effort here at first asking. But, I think you want to try and lean on some horses that don't have too many strikes. Mm-hmm. Obviously some other horses in here are racing well, Randy, but I think they're, primed to be played against here in this spot, I'd say.
Well, I would say so too. I think you can use them underneath and be, happy with yourself. But putting them up on top, I'm not really sure I'd go there. And one other thing I'd quickly say about Wake Zone too, Louis had to kind of get after him a little bit on the end of it there to get that win in the qualifier. But you got to remember, this is a Bettor's Delight out of a Captain Treacherous mare. He's double dosed to be lazy. So I think that that's what we're kind of looking at. Just a Bettor's Delight, typically, like we all know out there, that only is going to do the first little while what he has to do. And as long as he can get him into a good spot, I think we're looking okay there.
The Business on the Beach one that I'm intrigued with to see. I didn't think he was moving all that well or looked that comfortable last time out. Maybe second start in Turcotte's barn. Maybe he can be a little bit sharper, but Louis opting to go to Chantal Mitchell's first timer here, so I think that's going to draw even more attention, coupled with the fact that morning prep was a good one.
Yeah, I agree, but Justin is sending a shoeing change in on this one. Okay. We're going to go throw a set of aluminums on behind, so that could make a big difference.
Something to monitor there. We're going to move on to race number 4, more grassroots action here for 2-year-old pacing colts. We've got a field of 9, and the morning line favorite, Jose's Triplets. This was a private purchase by new co-owners Frank Cirillo and Aaron Waxman. I thought the son of Better Than Cheddar. He was coming off a maiden breaking score at Vernon Downs. I thought he raced super in his first start here for the new connections.
Yeah, I'd been picking Full of Colors. You know what I mean? So I thought that his form was good, and he ends up beating him, but only because Full of Colors went one way and Jose Triplets went the other way. You know, so he never could get to him. But I agree. I think it was a great effort. I'm going to go to Jose Triplet. You?
I went his direction.
Okay, but we're going to show you the replay of the 2 horse in here, Ryder Ross. This is a tough decision, and I can honestly say what made me go to Jose's Triplets is Doug. Doug had the choice here, but let's take a look at Ryder Ross. Now, I think Tyler Borth is picking himself up a really, really live drive. You can see Dougie driving him this night. Tyler's going to be driving him tonight. Greg McNair, his stable's been very, very hot. He was star of the card last night with a couple of wins, and I think that this guy was sneaky good. Dougie starts to make the exit out of the 3-hole, but there's not going to be a whole lot of room. Now, what I call this is sneaky good on the end. Right now, again, you can see him looking over. There's a little bit of room there, but he doesn't necessarily have it all. So he's just, again, sitting there, shoulders back, not doing anything, and at no point does he turn that horse loose. He only gets beat 3 lengths. Everybody else up there chasing their horses and that. And there's Dougie sitting back there with no room to play it. He's going to pick up Tyler Borth tonight, so I'm throwing him in for second. Again, Dougie had the option. He could have went back to Ryder Ross, but he elected to go to the 5-horse. I'm going to follow his lead on this one.
Nice effort there, like you mentioned. I mean, again, kind of similar to what we saw from Mass Appeal last night. A filly who was covered up, had nowhere to go, and she looked like she had some go well. She responded with a big win the week after. This is a tough spot, though, for Ryder Ross in this grassroots try. Obviously, he tried that Battle of Waterloo in that spot. In the final, never really was a factor, but that was a tough group. I think he'll be able to put forth a good effort and continue to build, I'd say.
I think so. I think he had a good effort. I don't look at him as a win candidate in here. I agree with you, with the depth in here. And I mean, perfect example, John. I mean, when Speak Softly to Me first came out, everybody was jumping over each other trying to play this horse. But you can tell, second part of the season, maybe he's not quite as sharp as he was that first part of the season. I didn't even use Speak Softly to Me in here. And, like I said, when he first came out, boy, oh boy, we were all just falling over one another trying to play him.
And odds on Bullfrog, obviously coming off a nice score last time out. I mean, he was covered up two starts back, and Louis just sent him down the road, and he put forth a pretty sharp effort. So he's coming into this grassroots leg with some confidence, and he's a main player in this spot as well.
Yeah. Now, what about Cattle Drive? You use him. I threw him in on the bottom.
Didn't factor him in. I think Lions First Bulldog is one that I think could bounce back with a better performance. Back on the big track again, second tier, 2 starts back at Kawartha, made a miscue from the outside draw at Clinton. His big track, his most recent big track try that made him breaking score, that was a good one, and I think he's going to put forth a better effort, but still not one that I factored in tonight. All right, we're going to move on to race at number 10, and this kicks off the late double here in this spot, and we've got some trotters here, another grassroots leg here for the rookies. We've got a field of 9, and I tell you what, I really struggled with this race, but there's one in here that you really like. You kind of alluded to it earlier.
There's 2 I really like.
All right,
one more, I think I'm going to get more value on. So where did you go?
I went to the 9-horse, Annibal Duara.
Oh, okay.
One that I'm going to try back on the big track, but again, as I mentioned, I can go a few different directions here. This is a tough race.
Yeah, well, I myself, I'm looking at Raucus as being the horse to beat in here. The 6-horse. I think that his form, is bringing more in here than maybe some of the other ones. But where I'm going to go is Stonebridge Mac. I'm going to take a chance at him, and we got a replay to show of him. Now, this is another one I say very good on the end of it. Now, his last start, you see, he goes up to Sarnia, draws the 9-hole, nothing happens, suffers some interference. It was just more or less just a, kind of a waste of time. But boy, between McEnany and Trevor Henry, they had this guy just cracking on August the 22nd. So let's take a look at this replay for him, and look how he's got a lot of ground to make up at this point, but boy, oh boy, does he ever flash some rubber down the end of it here. A few of these other ones, it looks like Travis Henry's looking for a little bit of room up the inside, but look at Trevor. This is what I like, the body language on Trevor. He knew before they were even to the start pole that he was winning this race. He just completely put it away, and look what he does. He comes the last quarter in 28-2. Now come on, if he turns him loose, what does he come then? Maybe 27-3.
Yep.
Either way, it was just, to me, it was a walk in the park. So I'm going to take a chance with him in here tonight. Grassroots try, and he's going to get some points made up as well. But middle of the gate, Trevor comes back, and I like him in here tonight.
Lots to like with him, I'd say. Lots to like with Raucus, and maybe I was a little bit light on this guy. I don't even have him on my top 4. I must have been daydreaming, because I think he can. I think he could probably hit a ticket. I think he's going to factor in that spot. But I'm going to try Annibal Duara again. I like the grassroots tries. On August 8th here at Mohawk. He was second to Hot Country. I thought that was a nice effort by him. He dropped more time, made a miscue last time out, and I think this is one that I think could bounce back with a better effort. I think the outside draw is going to help the value, but those 2 from the middle of the gate, they're going to be awfully tough if they show up.
They're going to be tough, and I got Annabelle in for on the bottom of mine, so I see where you're going with them.
All right, we're going to move on to race number 11 here, and this closes out the card, and as always, this is where our jackpot high 5 carryover consists of, and the pool is climbing, Randy. It's climbing higher and higher, and we're excited to see that number grow, especially coming into some big stakes nights, which is always a great wagering card or wagering opportunities on all those big stakes events. But it's a few horses here coming off some tough trips. I mean, Pick a Genre is one that obviously figures in this spot. He was behind some really poor cover last time out.
Bad traffic.
Yeah.
A lot of traffic.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the replay on Pick a Genre, because we're both more or less looking at it the same thing. You know, just a little bit too much traffic. You know, nothing was really moving along. You know, Trevor had him out going early. He left a little bit from the 9-hole to get position. He got away 7th. He should be okay, but look at this. Look at this traffic. You know, a lot of it was due to the fact that the one horse came out and went absolutely nowhere and then just jammed this whole field up. Now look at Trevor. He's still way out of it with Pick a Genre, but he's going to put big steps on the end of it. Going to come a last quarter in 28-1. Really, to me, the horse that's moving, you know, probably the best on the end of it. Everybody seems to have plateaued here. Dougie's still kind of coming forward. Jody's still moving forward, but not with the same authority that what Pick a Genre is coming forward. He was an overpowering winner the race before. The week before that, he had the trailing position, got away in bad traffic, finished 4th. The week before that, an overpowering winner again. Seems to me with Pick a Genre, if they can get him into the race, he's almost unbeatable in this class. Now he's got the 6-hole to work with as opposed to the 9-hole and the trailer before in his last 2, where it seemed like he got involved in traffic.
That's the biggest thing. The pulse relief is going to be a big boost for him. And again, a horse who finished really well. Just had no shot turning for home.
No.
You know, obviously, Let's Get Pickled. I mean, he's been sharp too. He's got 2 wins over his last 3 tries. You know, Jody put him in play. He was able to benefit from the outside flow, kind of backing up, and he was able to slip out. But this is a horse who's been razor sharp, and, you know, Jody's guided him to victories over his last couple of tries. I'm going to try Olaf Dulac here in this spot. I mean, it was his first start for new trainer Kyle Fellows last time out at Grand River. A nice second place effort there. And now he shows up here back to the big track on Lasix. Now, you know, there's certain, you know, barns when typically, you know, we see them show up on Lasix, and we see horses improve. But I think the last, you know, couple of or handful of starters we've seen sent out by Kyle Fellows, when they show up on Lasix, they have a little bit extra. Vis-a-vis Blue Chip was one that comes to mind. As soon as we saw Lasix added, the horse put forth a couple of really good efforts. This is one that I think you know, can put forth a good performance here tonight and intrigues me. So and you've always liked this guy.
Yeah, I got him in for 3rd there. I mean, you know me, my angle is usually second start Lasix, you know, but it might work. First start might easily work with this guy. Let's Get Pickled. A lot of people are going to be using him in here tonight. I got him in for second, but one thing you might want to pay close attention to too, like this guy raced August the 29th at Grand River, and that last start September the 2nd. He basically came in on a 3 or 4 day rotation. He's not doing that there tonight. You know, September the 2nd to the 9th. He's back on the 7-day rotation now. You know, olden times for all those old horsemen out there, a lot of times there, you know, you would train a horse pretty steep, you know, 2 or 3 days out of their race to get them really sharp, and usually a lot of times it would work, but you didn't do it all the time. So that would be my only thing. You know, is this going to maybe be a little bit too much for you know, this 9-year-old, you know, to come back the way that he has? I think it made him extra sharp for that start. Not sure if it's going to make him a little bit kind of dull for this start.
Pick a Genre. I know he's 7-2 on the morning line. Olaf Dulac installed as the morning line favorite. I think the Shane Barrington train is going to go off as the choice. In this spot,
I agree. How could he not?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And all right, so we're going to look at some pick 5 action as well. We're going to look at a couple of different ticket ideas from Randy and I here. And we're going to start with you first, Randy. Again, we're back to now, you know, all is right in the world now. A couple of singles here for you. So you have a better read on a couple of races, I'd say.
I bookended singles, John.
Yes, you did.
There you go. So in race number 1, it's a single. It's not my vault. I'm going to try him up on top. Race 2, I'm going to hit the all button. Like, I'm using Lions Gustavo Fring. I think that just about anybody could win this race, but obviously we're playing against Dime Better. Risky on my part. If he gets across at, you know, 1-5 or something, it's really going to hurt the ticket. In race number 3, I go 3-6, Wake Zone and Figment. Race number 4, I'm going to go 2 deep again, Ryder Ross, Jose's Triplets, and then in race 5, another single. But this time it's going to be Give Me Carrots K.
Yeah, that's a risky one.
Yeah, it is. You know, double dipping, horse to watch last time, you know, has the 10-hole tonight, got him in for 3rd, but I'm going to go Give Me Carrots K.
That's the best effort I've seen from him in quite some time. And Travis is opting to go to a different rival in that spot. Travis is opting to go
James.
to... Yeah, I mean, pretty good replacement, I'd say, and a horse who could be trending the right way. My early pick 5 ticket, I couldn't single in the last leg. I found it to be tricky. I used Twinbee Archie just based off class. You know, we know when Twinbee Archie's sharp, he's going to be competitive. Shutter Green, I think, is one that you know, merits. I think can put forth a competitive try. Give Me Carrots K, I'll use and double dip in, but My singles are going to come in race 2 and race 3. I think Dime Better is going to be tough, so I'll go all in on him. I'm going to try Figment. I really think, Figment, I really like those qualifying tries. I think he's ready for a good effort here at first asking. I don't know what we're going to see from Jose's triplets here in this spot, because I think we'll see a more aggressive approach. It's still too early in his career to kind of read into him if maybe he's comfortable pushing off that gate just yet. I think odds on Bullfrog is going to be pushing out of there, but I thought Jose's triplet, I mean, that rally last time out was a really good one. But
yeah, we don't want to pigeonhole him just yet as to what he's going to do, because so far it seems like he's pretty capable of either way. And I agree with you. I think that I don't necessarily see him going out of there to cut it, but I do see him going out of there to keep close, because I don't think that if he moves this horse first over, it's going to bother him in the least.
I don't think so at all. And race 1, I'm going 5, 7, 8. I'm intrigued with Time Emerald. I really think that this one could put forth a pretty good effort. The last time, though, middle of the gate draw, Randy, when Travis did try to leave out with her as the 9-5 choice, she made a miscue. So I'm hoping maybe she can, stay trotting here. But, speaking about sneaky good efforts, I thought that was just that. I mean, a 9th place try, but she had nowhere to go. So there's our thoughts for the early pick 5 there as well. And we're going to touch on some plays of the night. Here we're going to look at the plays board before we touch on some stakes action and some out-of-town action over the course of the weekend. Okay. So let's start with you off first.
Race 1, Waples Watch, It's Not My Vault. Race 2, if you want to play a double, Lions, Gustavo Fring, and trust me, that one will pay if you get it. Race 8, that's going to be going for broke and looking to repeat and beat the favorite. It's going to be Stonebridge Mac. We showed you the replay. I thought 2 starts ago raced very, very well here.
All right, and for my plays of the night here, I'm going to value play Time Emerald here in the opener. Debut winner, Figment. My worth a look, Barbaro. I think that one has a chance to put forth a good try here in this spot. My best bet's going to come in the finale, Olaf Dulac. So best of luck if we're tailing along. Hopefully we can have a pretty good night and maybe steer the ship a little bit at least. But some other sharp fellas are going to be submitting some handicapping opinions here and some plays of the night. Jose's triplets. Spot play for Garnet. Ghislaine Piquet, Maison Blue, pay attention. I like that one. That's one I pegged on top tonight. And Kevin Plouch, toss of the dice, his spot play tonight. So there's a recap of our plays board and some plays of the nights that many of us have offered. But we spoke about some stakes action as well, and we're going to have some eliminations and a final this weekend. We've got the Metro Limbs, we've got the She's a Great Lady Limbs, the Canadian Trotting Classic, and the Elegant Image are going straight to a final. We'll highlight those fields momentarily, but we're going to start off with the She's a Great Lady here first. We've got 2 divisions, 2 fields of 6 in this spot. So we get some local talent here, but this is a lot of U.S. talent that we're going to be able to see.
I'll say.
Adina Hanover, the lone local talent that we've got here. But we got a chance to see Fabulous Hanover last week.
I liked what I saw.
Yeah. She was really good. I think you'll like what you're going to see from Lua Deepa.
Heard of her.
Wasn't a factor in the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes final. I'm not sure, what went on there in that outing, but she's back in to go for this Elim, so you have to think that it wasn't anything major. This is a full sister to Looks Good in Lulu. So this homebred of Burke, she's got some go.
Didn't she just win again the other day? Looks Good in Lulu.
She finished second in Kentucky.
Oh, was second?
Yeah, second. Okay. But another good performance by her. And
this is a good division.
A lot of these are all local fillies here in this spot. Gentilly, she's been racing well. The one from the inside, Dea. She's coming off a nice second place effort, but Sangria Summer in a big, Grand Circuit event, a filly that you like.
Yeah, she raced very, very good. She had a win a couple starts ago, and then she raced real good in her last one there too.
All right, and obviously one of the feature events, especially in a couple of weeks, is going to be the Metro Pace. And we're going to get a chance to see a couple of eliminations. We were so pumped up to watch Frantic Hanover. We're going to get a chance to see him in the other elimination, but they didn't hook the same elim with Bojangles.
Good.
But a good field here. Sweet Love and Lou.
I mean, it's good. I think that they don't hook each other. I want to see them both undefeated and hook each other in the final.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That
would be
nice?
Great, really.
It would be,
Bojangles obviously had a week off. No stakes action for him this past weekend, but this Dockmore trainee, Randy, he's caught our attention from day one, and he's arguably the one to beat coming into this lucrative final.
Yeah, but for the people out there that haven't seen this 4-horse race, me and John have, and for those of you that haven't, boy, you're gonna, I'm a huge fan of Bojangles, but I'm a huge fan of this guy too, this Frantic Hanover. Every time I've seen him race, he has really, really been impressive.
We've seen some talented sons of Stay Hungry. I don't know if we've seen one maybe that shows this much promise this early than this guy.
Yeah, no, and what he's bringing too, he's bringing versatility, you know, and smartness and everything. He just really
wants
looks like
to do
a
it.
very,
He really
very
does
nice
want to
horse.
do it.
Yes.
We're going to have a final here, too. The Grade 2 Milton Stakes final on Saturday night, and we get to see Sylvia Hanover and Twinbee Joe Fresh hook up yet again.
Talk Curdy to me back
Talk
again.
Curdy to me, a field of 7 here. I mean, right now I'd say advantage Sylvia Hanover. And I thought that was a perfect prep race for her last time out. For a second, you thought they were going to get to Kobe's Gigi, but then we see her pin her ears back, and she says, no, I'm going to get it done.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, boy, when she puts those ears flat on her neck, look out, eh?
She's cracking sharp right now, I'd say.
She is.
All right,
she is.
We're going to look at the full field here for the Canadian Trotting Classic. Again, no eliminations needed. We're going to go straight to the final the following Saturday, not this Saturday, but the week after. And really nice group that we've got here. And we already got a chance to see Emoticon Legacy and Maryland hook up. Last time out, looked like Maryland was going to give Emoticon Legacy a little bit of a scare, and then he jumped it off. But we see Gap Chronos back on Canadian soil here as well. Fadeaway Hanover was scratched in a New York Sire Stake final at Batavia on Saturday. He's in to go. And look at Southland Caspian. He's back in Berksbarn. He's going to be in Berksbarn. This is a private purchase or a purchase on OnGate, I want to say, for this guy. So I'm intrigued by him. And Wild Turkey Hanover. Giving it a go in this Grand Circuit Stakes as well.
Yeah, Junior going to shell out the starting fee for that guy. But, you know, I mean, it's not a, you know, we didn't get like, you know, 15 or 20. But I'll tell you, for a straight to the final, that's a good bunch. Nice bunch.
I would say. And elegant image here, again, straight to the final for these 3-year-old trotting fillies. And our Duchess has looked super. I mean, she, Lasting Dream was aggressively handled last time up, but our Duchess seems to be getting stronger and stronger with each and every start. Is that Athena, though, a supplement? Why not? You know, I mean, she was a good second to our Duchess a couple starts ago. Did make a miscue last time out just before the gate, but she's a filly who's sharp, and a nice group that we've got here, too.
Real nice group. Our Duchess, I agree, very, very sharp, but boy, oh boy, am I ever looking to see Global Heritage
Last
again.
time we saw her, how good was she?
Didn't she just win down at Lexington, too? I think she might have just won at Lexington.
Is it Global Heritage or Global Sensation?
Maybe that's the one.
I'm drawing. I don't know if...
I think they both come out of the same barn.
Global Sensation comes out of Melander's barn.
I can't remember.
I'm not sure. I've got to go back and double check, but I'll tell you one thing. The last time we saw Global Heritage here, I mean, it turned into a sprint, but it didn't matter. She was sharp.
Yeah, very good. Strong, too.
All right, we've also got some out-of-town stakes events. Saturday's busy. They've got a big card over at Yonkers as well, which is headlined by the International Trot. What a nice field that we've got here, and we're going to field of 10, and our Canadian representative is going to be Lexus Cody, one who's Canadian sired as well, and really looking forward to seeing him compete on Saturday. And you know, Periculum and Honeck, I think he's done some pretty good things a couple of years ago. Elite Lop winner and won another European final of some sort, but Eidos Chronos. I mean, this is a good group, Randy.
3 horses coming over from France, eh?
Yeah.
So, very international, and that's the name of the game.
Lexus Cody, he's had 5 career starts at Yonkers. He's made miscues in 4 of them.
Oh.
This year, 2 starts, made 1 miscue, but it was an interference break. Look, this is a different horse. He's got a rail draw to work with. If he's sharp, he's going to give them a go.
Yeah. I hope he is. You know, and the thing with Lexus Cody is maybe some of those other times when, you know, Yannick was racing him more on front, maybe that's why he made those breaks, maybe went out of there. But since he's come the Maple Leaf Trot, he shows he's every bit as deadly from behind.
I think this race goes off at around 3 p.m.
Oh,
and
cool.
Some of those guys will
That's a big day.
Yeah, then come over here for some stakes action here. So we're looking forward to it, though. It's listen, there's stuff going on just about everywhere these days, Randy, but we've got to focus on tonight, and you know, it's a pretty good card. Like I said, I think it's a very competitive affair, and I'm really looking forward to going through tonight's action race by race.
Yeah, me too. You know, always a nice kind of time of year too, and I always enjoyed this time racing. You know, it's not the hot weather, but it's certainly far away from cold.
Yeah, the weather's great out there, and we're hoping for some great action on track. 1 minute to go before race number 1, which kicks off the early pick 5. We'll be back shortly.